Jacinta Zuma is blaming the South African government for the Q2 unemployment report and calling for more marches until they win. Also, President Cyril Ramaphosa also gave a very powerful speech with a sincere apology on xenophobia, which was applauded by Julius Malema. In another story, Nigeria and South African lawmakers are fighting over the term xenophobia. You know how we do it, right? Sit calmly, take a deep breath. Let's get into this.
And I say, clock it, clock it.
The South African president, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, gave a very powerful speech at the 46th Southern African Development Committee SADC Summit, which includes a very sincere apology to fellow Africans who were attacked and forced to leave South Africa, calling it as shameful on all South Africans.
We cannot submit to the intimidation and harassment of people seen as coming from elsewhere. As South Africans, we are deeply concerned and ashamed that nationals from other countries have in recent months been subjected to discrimination and ill treatment. I repeat, as South Africans, we are deeply concerned and ashamed that people from other nations, some whose leaders are here, were treated badly and were even forced to leave the country under threat of violence. The criminal actions of a few within our communities are a repudiation of the solidarity upon which this Southern African community is built.
Julius Malema, the leader of the EFF, also praised the president for what he described as a positive speech, especially when it comes to Afrophobia and xenophobia and all that.
Well, it was a very good speech that spoke about economic prosperity in the SADC, that spoke about the region coming together, that spoke about us loving each other, because we can never achieve SADC Vision 2050 if we don't share the common purpose of how we want to build our region. And I found it very, very strategic, because that's why we had incidences of Afrophobia and xenophobia. And the choosing of the venue has actually attracted me, because that's where we need to preach a message of Africanness, of oneness, of unity in order for us to prosper.
You know, Julius Malema is just a true politician, because usually opposition parties are quick to find the negative side of every good thing said by their political opponents. So Julius Malema coming out to applaud president on this particular issue means that he really stood by his words, Afrophobia and xenophobia in South Africa and all that. You know, but when you go on social media, many people are saying that they are tired of all this sweet, emotional and powerful speech from the president on this particular matter and all that. All they want now is action, because the issue that he is talking about, the people in the middle of this issue are still on the street marching, okay, doing the same thing. So it's time for action and justice. That is what the people are asking the president to do. But wait, upon all this speech and apology on these attacks on foreigners and all that in South Africa by the president and by some top leaders, including Julius Malema, who from day one has always been against the harsh action or attacks on foreigners in South Africa. But upon all this, South Africa still seems unwilling to openly accept or use the term xenophobia when describing some of these incidences and all that. I recently saw a video involving the Nigerian and South African delegations where lawmakers clashed over the use of the term xenophobia during the 55th Commonwealth Parliamentary Association African Regional Conference in Malawi. The matter chop hot. Wow. In another story, the Queen Jacinta Zuma, the Queen of March and March, has criticized the South African government for what she believes is a failure to highlight what she sees as the positive aspects of the country's latest unemployment figures in the Q2 report.
To those who are interested to know, with the recent statistics coming out that in Q2 people lost their jobs, Q2 which is obviously between April and June, they say that the number has generally increased of people who have lost their jobs in general.
The Q2 report recently showed an increase in South Africa's unemployment rate from 32.7% to 33.6%.
But there's a positive in that. Unfortunately, it's not positive for people to be unemployed. But the positive is this. When they talk about an unemployment rate, they don't necessarily mean people losing their jobs. An unemployment rate could also mean that there are new people in the market now looking for jobs that were not there before. So if there was 100,000 people who are not there now suddenly looking for jobs, it'll increase the number of unemployed people because obviously there's 100,000 new people now looking for jobs instead of the people who are already in the market looking for jobs. All right. Now, second to that, though, in other sectors, some of the sectors that we have been saying have a lot of foreign nationals, which is the informal sector. There has been an increase of 34,000 people who have now found jobs. And, you know, this is a very positive stride because it means that 34,000 new people are actually working in a period of 3 months, which is April to June. So there's a positive in this headline that they refuse to highlight, which is cool. It's okay, right?
She also criticized the South Africans who were jubilating or who were celebrating over the rise of the unemployment in the country, simply because of political differences and hate towards the March and March movement and all that.
But we are obviously looking forward to more South Africans looking and finding employment, which makes us happy. It's very disappointing to see other South Africans celebrating the fact that there's a high unemployment and where are the jobs that they claim people were promised. It's your country at the end of the day. The people that are not working are your fellow South Africans. Like, you can hate March and March all you want, but you can't honestly be celebrating the fact that there's a high unemployment rate. Really, I feel like that shocks me every time. People love political parties so much that they celebrate unemployment just because it proves a point about their political party or people that they like or dislike. You guys honestly can be so shocking sometimes.
But this raises a very important question, because were South Africans really celebrating because of increase in unemployment, or they were only asking for answers from the March and March? Because we were here when you came out and said that the government is not capable of creating jobs for its citizens and all that. So you took the law into your hands and then went to the street and started chasing foreigners away to create more opportunities for the citizens and all that. So if there is a report saying that unemployment has rather increased instead of coming down, of course, many people will come out and demand answers from any movement who came out and say the government is not capable, and so they are capable and they can do it, and they took the law into their own hands and marching on the street and saying all foreigners must go, all employers must lay off foreigners and employ locals and all that. So I don't think this is a celebration. This is just like a reminder and all that. At the end of the day, these are serious issues affecting the ordinary South Africans and also some of the foreigners in South Africa. As it stands now, marches are still activated. March and March is still active, and they are going to be marching until they win. Even today, 17th of August 2026, the March and March took their march to Durban City Hall, KwaZulu-Natal, where the Southern African Development Community Conference SADC summit was taking place, to march and remind the African head of states who are present there to come and fetch their people. According to March and March, they have given foreigners a deadline, but all refuse to leave.
We're here today because we're here to hand over a memorandum to the SADC leaders who have gathered here in Durban to make sure that they discuss the issues that we've listed. Mostly it's there are people flocking into South Africa, undocumented, coming into the country, and the minute that they land here, they suddenly have rights that they didn't have in their own countries. So if they want to protect their people from the so-called xenophobia that they're talking about, they must keep their people in their country. And then we can also try and build what we have, because our country is falling apart, you know. We don't have enough resources to take care of everyone. We don't have enough schools, enough hospitals, enough buildings, but we find ourselves having to carry the burden of all of Africa. It's really not fair, you know. And instead of terming the whole thing as xenophobia, it's about time that they have the real conversation.
That is it. It is what it is. Also, what do you think about President's apology on this xenophobia and all that? Are South Africans tired of speeches and ready for action? Or Should the government acknowledge xenophobia and then deal with those responsible? It is what it is. Drop your opinion in the comment below. Let's discuss respectively. And don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more updates. I'm out.